Hi guys! Today we are going to read Pop's Bridge together in our Journeys book. So I would like for you to go get your Journeys book now and please turn to page 122 so we can go over the vocabulary. So please go ahead and just pause this video until you have your book. Alright, so on page 122, let's go over the vocab for this week. Number 1, crew. A crew or group of workers has just started to build a new bridge. Now, a crew is just like it says there. It's a group of workers. You might have seen a crew work on construction on the street lately. I know there's lots of construction where I live. You might have seen a crew work on the new bridge in Moline that goes across to Iowa. So a crew is a group of people. We, as a class, we're a third grade crew. Wow, say that 5 times for a tongue twister. Third grade crew. All right, number 2, tide. When the sea falls at low tide, it's a good time to make repairs. Tide is just how high the sea is at a certain time. And the sea is kind of like just like a body of water like the ocean. And a low tide is when the water is really low. High tide would be when the water is really high. Number 3, cling. Painters cling to the bridge when the wind blows. They hold on tightly. That is just like it says there too. They hold on tightly to something. So if you cling to something, you are holding on really, really tight. Number 4, balancing. Workers must be good at balancing on high, thin beams without falling. I'm sure that you all have tried to balance before, maybe on outside on our playground. We have like a, when you go into the wood chips, there's like a piece of, there's like, I don't even know what they are. There's like logs that kind of surround the border of the playground. Maybe some of you have tried to walk on there without falling before by balancing. Maybe you have tried to balance on a tightrope before or a balancing beam. So when crews are working on things like bridges, it's really important for them to balance, and they have to be really good at it so that they don't fall off into the water. Number 5, foggy. On foggy days, thick mist makes it hard to see. Drivers must go slowly. I'm sure that sometime when you have ridden to school in the morning or taking the bus or maybe even walking to school, it's been a little bit foggy. And foggy is just when it looks like there's a big cloud right outside. Looks like you're in a cloud, kind of. Number 6, half of the bridge disappears in this photo. It seems to vanish in the fog. So we see the Golden Gate Bridge there. It's really foggy. But the word here is disappears. That means it goes away or you cannot see it anymore. Number 7, bridges may stretch over land or run across large bodies of water. So stretch means that something just kind of goes out. Oops, my hair. Sorry. It means that something just goes out for a long ways. Okay? So bridges can stretch over land or run across large bodies of water. Excitement. Marathon runners feel excitement as they cross this bridge. It's a thrill. So I'm sure a lot of you have felt excited before many, many times in your life. That's when you feel really happy and you're really excited. You're really looking forward to something. So an example of that would be if you run a marathon. A marathon is a really long race, and you feel a lot of excitement doing that with all of those people. Let's go ahead and turn the page to 125. So we see a picture here of the Golden Gate Bridge. The Golden Gate Bridge is in San Francisco, California, and that's what we're going to be reading about today. So let's turn the page again. Pop's Bridge by Eve Bunting, illustrated by C.F. Payne. All right. Turning the page to 129, and I'm going to start reading the story. Now, one more thing that I forgot about is that we're going to be doing think marks today. Okay, so please go ahead and get some sticky notes. Those of you that were in person before we went remote, you would have sticky notes at home, or you should, because I gave each of you some. But if you lost them, or if you were not here to get any from me, then you can use a piece of paper, or you could ask your parent if they're not busy. You can ask them if they have any sticky notes. So go ahead and pause this video until you have some sticky notes, and you may resume it when you're ready. Okay, perfect. So we all should be ready with our think notes. Remember, think notes help us think about what we are reading. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead. My pop is building the Golden Gate Bridge. Almost every day after school, Charlie Shue and I go to Fort Point and watch. The bridge will stretch across the bay from San Francisco to Marin. Some say this bridge couldn't be built. Some call it the Impossible Bridge. They say the bay is too deep, the currents too strong, the winds blowing in from the ocean too fierce. But I know my pop can do it. Whenever I say he's building the bridge, Mom laughs. There's a crew of more than 1,000 men working on that bridge, Robert, including Charlie's dad, she reminded me. I know that, but I just shrug. To me, it's Pop's bridge. So on this page, we learn that they're trying to build a bridge that will stretch across the bay in San Francisco. And San Francisco is a city in California. And this boy, let's see, I don't think we know his name. This boy's father is working on the bridge, so he's part of a crew that is constructing and building this Golden Gate Bridge. And he thinks that it's just his dad's bridge, but really it's lots of people that are working on it. But to him, it's his dad's bridge because his dad is helping to build it. Next page. Pop's a high iron man, balancing on the slated catwalks, spinning and bending the cables. He climbs so high that sometimes clouds come down around his shoulders. When the fog rolls in, he disappears completely. That's why the high iron men are called skywalkers. Charlie's dad is a painter. The painters start work long before the bridge is even finished. My pop says that if it weren't for them, the bridge would rust away, but I think he's just saying that to be nice. The skywalkers have the most important job of all. So the boy here that is narrating the story and telling us the story is saying that his dad is called a skywalker. Now they're not really called skywalkers, but he's calling them that because they're so high up in the air when they're building the bridge, and they have to balance on iron, which is what the bridge is being made out of. And his friend Charlie's dad is a painter, but he doesn't think that the painters are as important as the skywalkers, people like his dad, because he just doesn't think that they're working as hard as the skywalkers. Now, I don't know. What do you think? Do you think that the painters still have a very important job, even though they're not building the bridge? They're still painting it, and without them, the bridge would rust away. At Fort Point, I look for Pop through the binoculars Mom lends me. The workers look alike in their overalls and swabby hats, but I always find my Pop because of the red kerchief he ties at his throat. It's our scarlet signal. I don't worry much about him on days when the sun sparkles on the water, when sailboats skim below. It's so beautiful I can forget that it's dangerous too. But when the wind blows through the Golden Gate Bridge, the men cling to the girders like caterpillars on a branch. On foggy days, my hands sweat on the binoculars. Where is he? When I find him, I try not to look away, as though the force of my eyes can keep him from falling. So when it gets foggy outside, this boy cannot see his dad, and he gets afraid that he's going to fall into the water because he can't see him. That would be very scary. Now, to me, that kind of makes me feel a little bit like nervous. And nervous is not one of our think marks necessarily, but I'm going to put a think mark there And I am going to just put nervous. The way that I spell that is Nervous. Because that part makes me feel nervous because I'm thinking about, well, what if it was my dad or somebody that I loved that was up on that really tall bridge and I couldn't see them when it was foggy? That would make me really nervous and scared. So as you can see, I put a think mark there. You can do that too if you want to. I want you to write or have at least 3 think marks by the end of this story. So if you want to do that one, you can. Next page, on page 132. At my house, Charlie and I work on a jigsaw puzzle Mom bought us. When it's done, it will show how an artist thinks the bridge will look. Charlie and I work on the puzzle most every day. Bending over it, I feel like I'm building the real thing, along with Pop. I'm a Skywalker, too. We're almost done, Charlie says. I wonder which of us will put in the last piece. I shrug. But what he says makes me think. My Pop built that bridge. He should set the last puzzle piece in place. That's only fair, even though Charlie might think that his dad should do it. When Charlie isn't looking, I slip one of the pieces into my pocket. Later, I hide it in the room. I'm saving it for Pop. So he's hiding the last puzzle piece from his friend Charlie because he wants his dad to put it in there. I don't know if that's really that fair, though, because Charlie's dad still has a really, really tough job. And I don't think it's very fair that he's doing that. Now, I want you to think about something. I wonder if this boy's dad was a painter, if he would think the painters are the most important. What do you think? I think that if this boy telling the story, if his dad was not a Skywalker and if he was actually a painter, I think the boy might have a different view on that and he might have a different opinion. So that's kind of important to know too. What I would like for you to do while before we read the end of this story is to pause this video. I want you to get up. I want you to stretch out. I want you to go to the bathroom if you need to. And then I want you to come back when you are ready. So I'm going to give you about 5 minutes. Pause this video and go do those things. Stretch out. Eat a snack real quick if you need something. Go to the bathroom and then come back and listen, okay? Thanks. All right, I hope your break was awesome. So let's go ahead and keep going in the story. The Impossible Bridge is nearly finished. One evening, Mom and Pop and I walk down to Fort Point. The bridge hangs between the stars and the sea. It's like a giant harp, my Pop says, a harp for the angels to play. I look up at him and I can tell this wasn't just a job to my Pop. He loves the bridge. Aw, that's a beautiful illustration. Have you ever been to the Golden Gate Bridge in California? I've been to there, and I've actually rode bikes across it, so that was really exciting. In San Francisco, there is great excitement. Everyone is waiting for opening day. Charlie and I have watched nearly every bit of the bridge go up. We saw the 2 spans come together from opposite directions. We saw them meet. We saw the roadway go in, and my Pop did it. No one can be as proud as I am, not even Charlie. After all, my dad is a Skywalker. Well, I think that Charlie is extremely proud of his dad. He's probably just as proud as this boy is, don't you think? And then one day, something terrible happens. Charlie and I are watching as the scaffolding pulls away from the bridge. There's a noise like a train wreck as the scaffolding crashes down into the safety net. The net tears loose and men go in with it into the swirling tide. Remember, the tide is the water. I can't breathe. I can't think. Oh my gosh. Well, that makes me really nervous before I read anything else. So I'm going to put another nervous sticky note. This story is bringing out lots of nervous and scared feelings. This time I'm going to write scared instead of nervous. If you want to write one down too, you can. Don't read ahead yet because we don't want to know what happens yet. But for me, I think that's kind of a scary part in the story because I'm just imagining what that boy might feel like he sees his dad, or if he sees all these men go in the water, but he doesn't know if his dad was one of them. So I'm going to put this think note on the page just like this. That makes me feel pretty scared and nervous. But then I look through the binoculars and see Pop still on the bridge. His red kerchief was whipping. Pop, I whisper in relief. Whew, that makes me relieved too. Beside me, Charlie is screaming, "Where's my dad? Where's my dad?" We had seen him working close to that scaffolding. I can't see him now. We'll find him, I promise. We have to. I sweep the binoculars up and down the bridge cables, looking at every painter hanging high on his Jacob's ladder or swinging in a bosun's chair like a knot on the rope. Be there, Mr. Shoe, I plead, and then I spot him. Over by the cross girder, I yell. Charlie fumbles for the binoculars. I help him. He looks where I point. He's there! He's safe! Charlie gasps. The next day, we find out that only 2 of the 12 men in the water were saved. Wow. So that just shows you that being a construction worker on a crew that is building a bridge is an extremely dangerous job. Not only is it hard to do, but it's very dangerous. If their fathers were to have fallen in the water, the chances that they would have been saved are very low. All right, page 140. I think and think about that day. At night, half asleep, I see the bridge shake. I hear the crash. One of those men in the water could have been Pop or Charlie's dad. I finally understand, and I feel ashamed. Equal work, equal danger for skywalkers and for painters. So this boy here, he is finally realizing that his dad and Charlie's dad both have really important and really dangerous jobs, okay? They are equal. They're both extremely important. Without a painter, you wouldn't have the bridge. And without the skywalker, which are the people who are building it, you wouldn't have a bridge. So without either one of them, you won't have a bridge. The work goes on. A new safety net is put in place. Pop says there's less talking and joking now among the men. There's a remembering, which means that they're remembering those men who died. But the bridge must be finished. At last it is. We watch through Mom's binoculars as the Golden Gate is drilled in at the center of the main span. Now the celebration can begin. On opening day, no cars were allowed. Thousands of people walk and dance and roller skate across the bridge, including us. I wear Pop's kerchief around my neck. There's a man riding a unicycle. There's another on stilts. Navy biplanes fly above the great steel towers. Battleships and cruisers sail below the bridge and into the San Francisco Bay. Wind strums its music through the stretch of the cables, and I think of my Pop's heart. I love that picture. They all look so happy and excited. That must have been a really special day. That night, our family has our own party with Charlie and his dad. There's stewed chicken and a Chinese noodle dish. Charlie's dad made with a snickerdoodle pie. The jigsaw puzzle sits on the coffee table with a gap in the middle. I've searched and searched for that missing piece, my mother says. A good thing we didn't leave our bridge with a space like that, Mr. Shoe says. Pop chuckles. We'd be working still. It's time. I slip upstairs to get the hidden puzzle piece. Then I find the scissors and cut the piece carefully in half. I go back down and put a half piece in Mr. Shoe's hand and the other in Pop's. Finish it, I say. It's your bridge. It belongs to both of you. Wow, so he took that puzzle piece that he was saving just for his dad, and now he's giving one to Charlie's dad too, so he cut it in half to show that both of those men had equal jobs, equally important jobs. You know what? I think that's like my favorite part of the story. I'm going to put my favorite part there, and I'm just going to put a heart to represent that. Maybe that's your favorite part too, and you can put it there too, because remember, I want you to have at least 3 think marks at the end of this story. My mother raises her eyebrows and Charlie says, "Hey, where?" But I just watch as the 2 puzzle pieces fit in perfectly, so smoothly. Team effort, my pop says. We raise our glasses of sarsaparilla to celebrate the laborers and the riveters, the carpenters and the painters, and the skywalkers, all the men who worked together to build the most beautiful bridge in the world. And it really is one of the most beautiful bridges in the world. I love the Golden Gate Bridge. It's very pretty. Okay, so that was our story for the week. Now, I want you to have at least 3 think marks, please. If you wanted to do the 3 that I did, you can. If you didn't do any yet, go ahead and go back in the story. And I would like for you to fill in some of those think marks. Remember, you can find the think marks on our Bitmoji Classroom in the reading slide. If you just click on the think marks poster, it will make it bigger for you so you can see it. So I enjoyed reading this story with you guys this week, and I will see you next time. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.